Don't look at my pictures.
What?
Oh, your butt's on the stream.
Oh. Excuse me. Pardon me. There we go.
We're playing IRL.
We're playing IRL.
That's what it
It's
says.
my favorite game. Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live.
What's that red on my camera mean?
That means there's no memory cards.
Cool. Just making sure. We good, Ev?
No.
We're not live anymore, are we?
No, we are. We're still live. I just muted the audio because it's coming through the camera.
You muted the audio?
Oh.
The camera audio.
No, it's not muted.
Do we need to turn the...
Oh, was it doing both audios?
Audio input capture. Hold on.
Yeah, just USB. Or whatever that is. Good
Yeah.
God.
Testing. Hello. Hi, I'm Trey. I enjoy long walks on the beach. And no, I don't actually hate the beach. I hate sand. I'm Trey. I enjoy long walks on the beach. Was that a good all or bad all? I hate sand. Trey.
Good Lord,
I
we're
enjoy long
operating
walks
at
on the
1080.
beach. Was that a good all or bad all? I hate
sand.
Oh, are we live
Why
still?
would I turn that down?
Oh God, man, this is making for a great live stream.
The camera's still crooked.
Fix it.
I don't. Well, it's like. Let me turn this down. Hey, we have audio, and it sounds fine.
Yeah.
And I'm this far away from my mic, which is good.
Yeah. So we're live. Chris, do you want to fix the camera or is that going to drive you crazy? Are you content with the way the camera is?
You see how it's crooked?
You
See
know,
how-
I definitely see it. I saw it and I can see it in the frame.
Why didn't you say something earlier?
Because it wasn't like that earlier. It probably got bumped when you were squeezing out from behind the couch.
Yeah, I'm literally looking at like either that or the building is crooked.
If you look at the table, though.
Oh yeah, the table's dead on.
Well, like the
It's the TV.
No, dude, look at that right there. Yeah, that fucking wall is
I mean,
crooked.
we've established that. So I guess this is the first Twin Stick Radio live stream podcast. I guess the live cast. There you go. I'm Trey. That's Chris.
My phone's about to die. You should tweet this out.
What?
Cheeky bugger. This is still plugged in. That's where the audio is coming from.
Really? And this is going swimmingly. Like,
This
I'm
is
glad.
This is the first. This is why we're doing this.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that some of this stuff was still happening, like when we started recording. Because I mean, Chris and Ev have been here for 5 hours at this point. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is.
Yeah, we've been here. No, we've been here since like 4. So
4.
It's been
Oh.
2.5 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys got started like right when I got here. I got here like
No,
4:20.
3. So yeah. Well, okay. So we started like at 3. So
At
it's
3?
been like 3.5 hours.
So yeah, they've been doing this for 3.5 hours. I've basically been sitting here waving my arms, and we have had I think every problem that you could have with setting up a live stream has happened to us over the course of the past 3 hours.
Here's the problem. Is that we live in a day and age where I can just take this out and press stream and I'm streaming, no problems whatsoever. But if I try to do it with a camera through a computer and a freaking board for audio, everything you can possibly think of, it's the freaking hardest thing possibly to do. And it's all OBS's fault. We think
Yep.
of. It's
Yep,
the
it's all
freaking
OBS's
hardest
fault.
thing possibly to do.
If I didn't establish, I know I
it's
said it,
all
but we
OBS's
might have
fault,
like
we think.
been distracted by technical stuff. I'm Trey. This is Chris. We have been doing a podcast called Twin Stick Radio for 3 years, which I would expect like maybe I need to say in case people are watching this for the first time on Twitch. We've been on Twitch a couple times before.
We have.
We used to do our Thursday live streams. And then we did a disastrous E3 live stream.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad. You couldn't hear any of the audio from any of our like shows afterwards.
What?
The live streams that we did over the course of
Okay.
E3,
Okay.
the audio was so fucked up that you couldn't hear anything.
Ew.
Yeah.
I
So
remember that.
yeah, that was a fun week. Not only that was fun for multiple reasons. A, we didn't test anything out. And B, we didn't have a producer. And C, we had never done anything like that before. And of course, at the time, everyone who put things together did an awesome job, and we did the best with what we had. And I think that it looked fine. Just,
This looks better.
Dr. Pepper in the Taco Bell cup. Hey, now that we're actually on camera, Taco Bell can sponsor us, right?
Oh yeah, hold on. Be the Bell. Is that what their thing is?
Be the Bell. Is that what it is?
I don't know. Sure, it is now.
I thought it was, what does the fucking Chihuahua say?
Tu madre es queso.
Yep, definitely. Taco Bell doesn't even have queso though.
Yeah, they do. They have that little cheese whiz.
They
stuff.
have melted cheese. Let's
And
be
that
real
stuff,
for a
that
second.
stuff is amazing. Okay, my favorite thing at Taco Bell right now is seriously those stupid little fried chicken nugget things dipped in that cheese whiz of melted cheese, whatever it is.
I like to get the box. Is it the fucking meal deal box? The one that comes with the chips.
Oh yeah.
I like to get
the
that.
the chips in the.
Except I don't really like the chips because they're way too fucking salty.
No, they're not. Oh yeah, I guess mine were actually pretty salty.
They're pretty salty, but I like to get the chips and throw them away. And then I take the cheese and I dip the burrito supreme in the cheese. But I put a little bit of hot sauce in there so that like you're getting both the hot sauce and the queso or cheese.
See, I'm doing the Connor Manning. So what he does is he orders the nachos Bill Grande, which is the new nachos thing, which literally all it is nachos. It's the chips with beans, the taco meat, cheese, and then sour cream and tomatoes if you want the sour cream and tomatoes. I say no sour cream because sour cream's gross.
Yes.
But what you do is you take your preferred hot sauce, you pour it all over it, and instead of eating chip by chip and getting your hands dirty, you take one of the Taco Bell sporks and you break it all up and mix it into like a casserole.
Oh.
And it's fucking amazing.
You could do it like, doesn't it come with like a plastic lid?
So
you can do it like white
And
girl
you
salad
shake it,
style.
yeah, no shit.
This is all
Basic bitch salad style.
You can do it like
thing that
white
I'm
girl
really
salad
shake it,
style.
yeah, no
Doing
shit.
things on camera, is that you can actually see the shit that we're doing.
That's true.
This is usually what we're doing. We just don't always describe it, so a lot of the nuance is lost. If you guys haven't watched us before, which you
Or
haven't,
heard.
or heard us before, we are a podcast about video games. We record weekly, and this isn't a real episode, so I don't have to do the whole rigmarole. Chris, what are you playing?
Surprisingly, I haven't touched Destiny in almost a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
The faction rally's happening.
I know, man. I feel bad too because there's a Dead Orbit who's going to win. I hate to break it to you guys. The grenade launcher is not going to stop it. I tweeted this out. The only way Dead Orbit will lose a faction rally is if Future War Cult or New Monarchy literally have Galahorn. Only way it's going to ever happen.
Or if people are, if you're committed to one faction per account. Because we talked about this last time.
Yes,
The biggest problem with faction rally is it's like, oh, I have all three factions on all three characters.
Yes.
So,
I think that would be a much better way to handle faction rallies if it was, like you said, if it was account based.
Yeah.
You have all three characters, but only one faction can be pledged to per account.
Yeah.
And that would make, at least in my mind, that would make the race to see who wins so much more interesting.
Yeah. Well, we said it last time. Like, if the majority of average players are doing Dead Orbit and all the hardcore players are doing all three, it doesn't matter how much time you put into your main. Like, if you're still grinding other tokens, you're just helping.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, realistically, I would think that maybe I'm way overestimating, like, how many people are hardcore Destiny players. But I feel like if you're a hardcore Destiny player and you're committed to one faction, like, the hardcore could still earn the casual.
Yeah, I think if the hardcore decide to make a rally against Dead Orbit, there's a chance New Monarchy or Future War Cult can win. But as we're at right now, there's so many casuals playing, and let's be completely honest, the black shader looks the best out of any shader.
I don't know that I'm not a big fan of Space Nazis, but I love the New Monarchy.
Monarchy
shaders.
It's fine, but it's not black.
Sure.
Everybody on the internet's an edgelord, so that's just Dead Orbit's going to win again, unfortunately, which sucks because at least last time we had a pulse rifle or a scout rifle that was semi good. Haunted Earth.
Well, apparently, from what everyone's been saying, like the grenade launcher is the best of the 3 power weapons that are available.
Yeah, I mean,
like you hate grenade launchers, but
everybody hates grenade launchers. But yes, the new Monarchy sword is nothing compared to the Raid sword.
and
Nothing.
from what I
compared to
understand,
Raid
the
sword.
fusion rifle is pretty underwhelming
Yeah,
too.
but also, I don't think a lot of people have noticed this, but Haunted Earth was a scout rifle that dead orbit. I don't think a lot of people have noticed this, but Pulse Rifle Haunted Earth was a scout rifle that Future War Cult
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people have noticed this, but
Nice.
So it's Haunted Earth. Even if you lose, you're going to get it the next loot pull around.
It's
Does
a
that make sense?
good enough reason for me to like play again. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
exactly.
really want that pulse rifle.
I do too. I want the Pulse Rifle from with Dragonfly. I forget what it's called. But I do need to sign in and go pledge a Dead Orbit because they have a assault rifle or auto rifle in the loot pool that fires at 720 rounds a second with minute, that's fast for an assault rifle. That's faster than Ghost Primus, which is insane. Has 55 in the magazine and has high caliber rounds, but it also has that the main perk is if you're aiming down sight, you have a faster and more accurate aim assist.
Okay.
So it's a great PvP weapon, but it's also be good on Callus.
Yeah.
So I really want that. So I need to sign in and play. But
Well, real fast before you move on to what you have been playing, why haven't you been playing Destiny? I mean, aside from the fact that you have another game that you've been playing, but like there has been other stuff that has come out that hasn't pulled your attention away from Destiny. Are you done until December, or like what's up with you?
No. I'm not done till December. It's just I think everybody has those games that you'll drop anything for. And my game I've been playing this week is one of those games where I drop everything to play it. I drop this game I'm playing, New Dragon Age, I would drop everything to play it. Mass Effect, I drop everything to play it. If a new Star Wars game that is a single player RPG that everybody wants came out, I would drop to play it. But Battlefront doesn't. I'm not going to drop Destiny to play Battlefront. Might try it on yours, but I don't plan on dropping Destiny for it. But there's certain games that I'll just drop everything for. And most of the time they're Ubisoft games, unfortunately, because I'm a Ubisoft fanboy. But I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and it is one of the best Assassin's Creed games to ever be created. In the 10 years Assassin's Creed's been around, it's one of the best. Alongside 2, Black Flag, and to me, I think Syndicate was great. Great. Just everything about it's great. They moved to this RPG loot system, which is phenomenal. It's like Destiny. Your progression from 1 to 20, 30, 20. What's the cap? 20. 1 to 20, and then 270 or whatever you stop at there, 200 light to 300 light. You're always constantly, I got a new weapon, switch in, switch out, switch in, switch out, switch in. Assassin's Creed, I'm doing that. I'm constantly like, oh shit, I got a new weapon. Switch to that one, see if it's any good. And there's different classes of weapons, like your melee weapons. There's dual wielding. There's giant ass axes. There's one-handed swords with a shield. There's like halberds and spears and scepters. And then on your bows, there's 4 different types of bows that literally do different things. It's not just like, oh yeah, there's 4 bows, but they all basically do the same thing. No, there's a bow that shoots like 5 arrows at once. There's a bow that aims in down sights, and you can actually control the arrow where it goes. There's your common just bow. There's a light bow that you hold down the button, and it's like a rapid fire. Ta, 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 ta. It's really cool. Anyway, a lot of cool shit about Assassin's Creed. However, I do want to say this and put it on the internet. I'm really glad Assassin's Creed Origins is getting the press it is. However, it's no different than Syndicate or Unity or Black Flag or 2. The only difference is these little small mechanics, i.e. the RPG system. And nope, not even the quest system. The game's the same. So the fact that Assassin's Creed Origins is getting 8s, 9s, I think I saw a 9.5 from somebody, getting such high scores, to me it's bullshit, because you see Syndicate who got like 7s and 8s and stuff like that, and it's literally the exact same game. And it's like I said, I'm super glad Assassin's Creed Origins is getting the recognition that Assassin's Creed deserves. However, the bad press from Unity and those other games carried into later Assassin's Creed. So something like Syndicate that was just as good as this one. Maybe not as good on the story. The story was a little weak on Syndicate. But as far as gameplay goes, your overall Assassin's Creed gameplay loop is this: gear progression and clearing maps.
Yes.
That's what you do in Assassin's Creed. And there's a story to drive you along. But that's every Assassin's Creed from 1 to Origins.
Yeah.
It's always gear progression and it's always clearing maps. I've heard people on reviews say they're so glad that customization's back in Assassin's Creed. The customization in Assassin's Creed right now, as far as character customization, is non-existent. It's different outfits. Where if you go back to Unity, there was different outfits, dye those colors of outfits, change the way your weapons and your actual, what are these called? Like gauntlets or bracers, whatever.
I guess, yeah.
You change all of that. You can change. You can put a different hood on your character depending on what you're wearing. And heavy armor made a difference between light armor. Syndicate was kind of the same way. You had a bunch of different options for how you wanted Jacob and Evie to look. It wasn't just outfits. But I saw somebody who was like, "I'm so glad they brought back customization to outfits in Assassin's Creed Origins." Like it just never went anywhere. It's just you never gave all the Assassin's Creeds the time of day to actually see that stuff.
But I think there's something to be said about something becoming special again. Like, I really don't feel like the world has shifted that much now that Call of Duty World War II is out. In spite of the fact that everyone, I literally haven't heard anyone talk about it. I don't feel like it's getting the same sort of attention that like Battlefield 1 got. Even though this was the Call of Duty game that everyone wanted. I feel like had Activision taken a year break.
Did everybody want it though?
I feel like I've been here. Well, I mean, at least since the modern shit has happened.
Yeah,
and then
I guess so.
Since Battlefield 1, like a World War II shooter has been wanted again.
Yeah, I guess so.
And I think that like if they'd taken a year off and come back and be like, here's Call of Duty World War II, I feel like that would have had a bigger impact than, hey, it's another Call of Duty. It's different than the other ones, but also like every year you get a Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I think that was the same problem with Assassin's Creed. And you also, the thing about Assassin's Creed as well is that like Unity is a fine game to a lot of people, right? There are people that didn't have the same sort of problems that other people had. And I was one of those people that had problems. You were one of those people that didn't have problems. But at the end of the day, like, you kind of make your name as a yearly franchise with your first release on a new console. Your first, like, console exclusive release. Or at least, like, big release after the console's main release. So you have, like, Call of Duty, God, what was it called? Advanced Warfare was a really good game. It was. Like, objectively, it's a good game. It affected the grander vision of what Call of Duty became, but it's a decent game. With Assassin's Creed, it's like they started out this generation with Black Flag, which was a great game, but immediately after they put out a console exclusive that was complete shit.
But it wasn't.
To some people. To some people, it was complete shit. Like, for me, that game was unplayable at times because of the frame rate drops, internet problems. Like, there were times where that game was unplayable to me. And we talked about this the other day. Like, I've played every Assassin's Creed except for Rogue, and
basically all the offshoots,
Revelations, and Brotherhood.
Yeah, and Syndicate. You never got
and Syndicate. Yeah. So I've played all of them, and with Unity, like I think they just put a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and it got people talking about like, hey, does this franchise need to be yearly?
Yeah, I get it. I get that. But as and you know, this is probably the glaringness of my Ubisoft fanboy coming out, is that if you can play games, I don't know how to say this. I can play games to get past bugs. Because I grew up in a generation where we didn't have day one patches. I was talking to Everett about this earlier. I grew up in a generation when you bought a Nintendo 64 game and you hit a game-breaking bug, guess what?
The game was broken.
Game's broken, you start all over from the beginning. Hey, I have 30 hours in this game though. Oh, well, you hit a game-breaking bug, start over. This is how this is gonna work. So I came from an age where that was a thing, and it was a very real thing. Did it happen often? No. But we also didn't have games to the extent they are now, where there's so much happening in the background of these games that anything could break. It's like what we just dealt with today with this fucking Twitch stream. Yeah, there's a bunch of things working in the background to make this work, and we had to make sure it was all running smoothly for it to actually happen. Whereas this is a Nintendo 64 game. Yeah, I just press play and then we're good to go.
Well, but it's the opposite of the Bethesda problem. With the Bethesda problem, we've talked about this before. There's a certain amount of pass that fans give those games, Bethesda proper games, because they're janky.
Yeah.
And it happens. And, I hit my limit with Fallout 4.
Yeah,
when
it's
I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
They call it, what do they call it? It's not charming. It's
a feature.
Yeah, not a feature. I've heard it called something before. It's along the lines of, oh, the weird glitches. They're part of Bethesda games. It's charming. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's not.
But we give them a pass because it's Bethesda. They make these huge games.
Yeah.
The thing about Assassin's Creed, though, is that I'm sure you can go in the past and look up a bunch of examples of jank in Assassin's Creed games, but up until Unity,
there really hasn't been.
There really hasn't been. And so I think the fact that I think the major problem with a lot of people had with Unity wasn't necessarily that the game was broken, is that it was rushed.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was rushed. Now, of course, we don't know how long. I mean, I'm sure we know how long it was in development. I don't know off the top of my head, but it was one of those things where it's like, man, maybe if they just given this another year,
because Origins
this would have been a perfect game.
Origins makes 4 on this generation, right?
I guess if you count Black Flag.
Was there anything between Unity and Syndicate?
No. I mean, outside of those stupid side scrollers.
Oh yeah, okay. But yeah, I like the jump from let's take the jump from Unity to Origins.
I mean, technically, Rogue was, but that never came to.
I don't think it came. Yeah, okay. Let's take the jump from Unity to Origins. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big leap, and there's some improvements to the game, but the jump from Syndicate to Origins
isn't as big.
No, and it doesn't. It does. I feel like, if Unity gets a 7 and an 8, Origins should be getting a 7 and an 8, because there really isn't that big of a the blue, purple, yellow gear progression system is not that good. It's not like Destiny good.
Do you think? Because a big problem that I've seen with Assassin's Creed since the end of 3, right? Because that was when they pretty much ended Desmond's story or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I think that people's main complaint with Assassin's Creed is that the story hasn't been great and it doesn't seem impactful at all.
The modern day story hasn't been great.
I think also past stories. I don't remember people being like Assassin's Creed, and this is also like this is a problem with Assassin's Creed.
You are right. Now that I think about it, Unity and Syndicate didn't have the best stories.
Well, and Black Flag didn't have the best story.
No, I thought Black Flag was strong because of the
fine story,
the pirate type interlacing of it.
Yeah, I mean it was fine because it was way different. But at the end of the day, like the best part about Black Flag was the fact that you were a fucking pirate. It had nothing to do with the fact that it had a great plot. Yeah. Do you think you said that Origin Story is better than Syndicate's?
Yeah, I think.
Which I would guess that means it's better than Unity's.
Yes, it's much better than Unity's. It was weird. Unity's was literally just Arno and Elise, like their lovers spat because she was a Templar, he was an assassin.
Well, and also like Arno was kind of not
Arno wasn't
most
the
likable character.
Yeah. And that's another thing.
It's like Anakin without Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Like it just doesn't really work.
That is another thing about Bayek and Origins. Bayek is it's a very cool character. You're a Magi, which did actually exist. And you and your wife are basically working for Cleopatra and starting the Order. I haven't got far enough to understand how the Order starts, but as of right now, what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm assassinating high-ranking either Greek or Egyptians, and working with Cleopatra and my wife, which is super cool. Characters are more likable. Like Bayek and his wife have a cool relationship so far. Cleopatra's everything I thought Cleopatra actually would be. Fucking sex addict who is freaking narcissist. It's everything I thought she would be. And it's great. Like I'm enjoying all the characters. But I'm not enjoying Origins more than I enjoyed Syndicate. I'm enjoying them equally.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, it's great and I'm going to finish it and it's awesome and I do love it. I've got 40, 50 hours in it probably already. I'd easily give it an 8 or a 9. Yeah. Easily. So it's a great game, and that's a game I dropped Destiny to play. And once I finish Assassin's Creed, I'll go back to Destiny, but man, I'm not anywhere near finished with Assassin's Creed. That's the thing. Origins is huge.
Yeah.
It's giant. And there's end-game content, which is really cool. Before we move on, I do want to say this. There are weekly and monthly things that are going to bring you back to Assassin's Creed every week, which is super interesting. It's how I think Ubisoft sat down and was like, okay, people log into Destiny at least once a week. How do we get people to do that with Assassin's Creed? we put in-game events. So right now the in-game event is you have to go kill the Animus is fucking up, and the Animus is accidentally putting Greek gods into the world, and they're giant. So you as Bayek have to go kill these giant Greek gods.
Now, is this? Bear with me with this question.
Okay.
Is it just, hey, you're in the world and these giant Greek gods and you're killing them? Or is there like a story element to it?
I don't know yet. They're level 40, so I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I don't know what, and that's the thing is
there is there like a story
there is
element
a
to it?
modern. I don't know yet. They're level 40, so I haven't back very much to Assassin's Creed. I don't know what, and that's the thing is
So you're an actual character.
I don't know, and you're going into
Is it
the
a named
Animus.
character, or
Yeah,
are you just
yeah.
some fucking loser?
Her right now, all I know is her name is Layla, and she works for Abstergo, and she's out on a mission or an assignment, and she brought along her prototype traveling Animus, and she's using that without Abstergo knowing.
Okay.
And I don't know why yet. But it's really, my point is, it's when you come out of the Animus, there's little things to do and go and collect that further the story, a lot like Assassin's Creed 1 did.
Okay, cool.
So I'm super interested to see what the collecting in the outside world, in the modern day, how that forwards a story. Yeah, it's good. Everybody should go play it. And if you like Origins, go play Syndicate and go play everything else past it.
Yeah,
It's
and
good
it's very likely to be the first review we do for Twin Stick Radio.
Very true. Game of the year? No.
No, that's obviously Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, but I've heard Assassin's Creed. I've seen people on Twitter say Assassin's Creed's better than Legend of Zelda.
Sure. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know how that's possible.
Early game of the year talk. Why not? Real fast, I guess. I played Destiny 2. I don't know. Shadow of War is a game that I want to go back to, but at the same time, like, part of it feels just so overwhelming that I kind of don't want to go back. I will at some point, but I'm just not feeling it right now. And then I'm playing through South Park: The Stick of Truth, trying to get the platinum so I can play Fractured But Whole. Which is where I'm at right now. Is that like there are a ton of games that are either out or coming out really soon that I'm just really want to play. Like I want to play Wolfenstein so bad.
Yeah.
I want to play Assassin's Creed, which I loaded it.
Yeah.
I downloaded it.
It took 30, 40 minutes for that game to actually download an update when I first got it too. So.
Yeah. So maybe I'll jump in that sometime this weekend. I want to play Fractured But Whole, and then Battlefront comes out a week from tomorrow, which is I will drop everything for that game. Not necessarily because I care too much about the multiplayer. I am excited to play the multiplayer, but I'm really ready for another Star Wars story.
Yeah. I'll get Battlefront. I'll watch you play Battlefront and play a little bit of Battlefront from you. As soon as I'm done with Assassin's Creed, I hate to tell you, but I'm lending it to Daniel because he's giving me a Switch so I can do Zelda and Mario.
Oh, that's right. You're going to have that game for like another month and a half. So
Assassin's Creed, another month at least because of Destiny. But I want to get done with at least 2 weeks before Osiris so I can dive into Zelda and Mario. Because I don't plan on finishing either one of them, but I want to play them because everybody dive into Zelda and Mario. I don't plan on finishing either one of them. I need to know why they're game of the year. I don't see Mario as a game of the year, but I can see Zelda.
I've been thinking about it. I really like Zelda. I didn't finish it. I'm going to finish it because at some point I've been thinking about it. I really switch. The thing about Zelda though is that like Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite Zelda game. Like realistically, I think it's better than all the rest. However, when I think about Horizon Zero Dawn, because I was reading through the review I released in March again, just kind of thinking about it. The thing about Horizon Zero Dawn that I really like, and the reason why it's my game of the year, and haven't really shifted on it, although there are a couple things that could maybe take it away. Horizon Zero Dawn feels like a natural adaptation of the genre. It feels like, hey, this is where open world games should go. And in a year where open world has owned everything, like it is the difference between an amazing open world game and an open world game that is good but doesn't really need an open world, which is what I think of like when I think of Mass Effect Andromeda. It's like, yeah, the open world part of that is fun, but really it doesn't need it.
Right.
But Zelda doesn't. It's Nintendo's first open world game, and it does a lot of things really well. There's a sense of freedom that you don't get in other open world games, but that doesn't change the fact that like it has no story. And sure, the world's interesting. It's one of the most interesting Zelda worlds you ever dropped into, but it doesn't really develop it.
Yeah.
And The combat's fine, but there's this also like arbitrary way of how the game makes everything harder. How, you know, weapons break.
Yeah.
And you're not your armor doesn't really matter outside of like certain
right.
environmental things.
I have noticed that about Zelda games over the last 15 years since Nintendo 64, is that Ocarina of Time had a great story driving you forward.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to Breath of the Wild, nobody has ever said Breath of the Wild has an amazing story.
It has great moments.
Sure, sure,
and
but
the idea of the world that it builds around it is really cool, but it's not like Link's not really a character.
right, that's what I mean is like Breath of the Wild is all about getting in there, finding your Kokiri seeds or whatever it is. Finishing your shrines. It's literally Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft games. It's clearing the map.
Yep.
Zelda's evolved into the Ubisoft formula.
Yeah.
And they do the exact same thing Ubisoft does.
Yeah.
They just have Link in it, which makes it 1,000 times better for most people.
Well, and that's like Horizon stands out to me because it's like the combat is interesting because it's difficult in a non-arbitrary way. Like you are faced with a challenge, you are given tools to figure out how to solve that challenge, and you do it. The world is interesting and it doesn't feel overly big for the sake of being big. Like there are maybe 60 collectibles, but the map is huge.
Right.
There are tons of interesting side quests. The main story is arguably one of my favorite stories in video games ever. I mean, it's in my top 5 list.
I've seen people 50-50 on the story. I don't even know the first thing about it. So I'm interested.
Yeah, because
to
I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, and that's fine. But I've seen, it's weird. I've seen 50-50. I've seen people be like, the only reason I'm playing Horizon is because of the gameplay. I don't have any idea what's going on in the story, and honestly, I don't care. And then another person would be like, what? The story is what's driving me forward. I could care less about killing all these dinosaurs.
Because the problem is that if you go back to when I first started playing Horizon, and maybe when I had been in like the first 30 hours of the game, I had said the same thing, where it's like I'm having more fun running around the world than I am with the story.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, and I had talked to someone at work about this, someone at my other job about this, because they hadn't really moved forward in the game either. They're like, the story's not really catching me. And I'm like, you need to get to the certain part in the story. And when you get to that part, and it's really early on, it's like maybe 3 or 4 chapters after you leave the tutorial. But once you get to that part in the story, like everything about that world becomes more interesting.
And see, that's not, at least to me, that's not good game design. Assassin's Creed does Assassin's Creed does the exact same thing. It literally throws you into this game without knowing anything.
It's not that the story up to that point is bad or not interesting. There's a certain level, they have to set a certain foundation for that world. Like in Game of Thrones, you're introduced to King's Landing fairly early on in that story, and you need to know about King's Landing, and you need to know,
but it's not boring.
I don't think Horizon Zero Dawn is boring either.
Well, what's wrong with that first 2 hours?
It's not. I mean, first of all, the open world is just so cool and interesting. Like stumbling onto new creatures is really exciting and fun.
Okay.
So like you want to explore and find things because so that's pulling you away from the story. The other part is that like you don't really like. It's hard to figure out. There's this overwhelming mystery that like is presented at the beginning of the game, and that mystery is what's driving you forward. But you don't really know. You don't really know why you necessarily should care yet. And that sounds like a negative thing, but it's not, because
it can be negative. That's totally a negative thing.
It introduces like early on, like after you've established like, hey, this is the world, these are the people, this is like the main cultural hub of this world. It immediately sets you out and it starts sending you down that path of figuring out what the mystery is.
Okay.
Like there is a moment at the beginning of a mission, right when you finish, like I forgot what it's called, but there's basically a King's Landing.
Yeah.
Once you figure out like what that place is, it sends you on this mission, and then within like 2 seconds of starting the mission, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
and that pushes you to go to each one. It's not.
But that can be a negative thing. You don't have to defend it, because Assassin's Creed is the same way. Assassin's Creed throws you into this game without any explanation as to what you're supposed to be doing.
Well,
nothing.
And
that's not good. But that's because people complained about tutorials. For the last year, games started with like, almost look at Persona.
Yeah.
Persona's tutorial is like 5 hours long.
Like you
Literally.
haven't played that game like at all because you're still in the
Yes,
tutorial.
like literally Persona's intro or tutorial is 5 hours long, and that's not good game design. You could tone it down to 30 minutes to an hour and it'd be fine. Assassin's Creed alleviated that by just not having tutorials at all. And that's not good for the game. That because that's you're being thrown into this giant world. You have no idea what's happening, no idea what's going on. You have a bunch of cutscenes that are basically flashbacks. You don't know what order they're in, so you don't know what happened first. So you have nothing driving you forward, and it's not good. That's just not good game design.
Yeah.
But again, once you get to Alexandria, boom, everything comes into perspective, and all of a sudden, wow, this is awesome now because I understand the last 2 hours that I had to go through.
The thing about Horizon and the reason why like it sounds like I'm defending it is because in a way it retroactively fixes that problem.
And so does Assassin's Creed.
And it's one of those things where you're like, at first you're like, man, I don't really care about the story. I want to go around and kill these dinosaurs and unlock the camps and do side
everything comes
missions.
into
And
perspective.
that is all
and
really
all of a
interesting and
sudden,
fun
wow,
stuff to do.
This is
And
awesome now because I understand.
Well, I wish it kind of hooked you earlier, but at the same time, like by the time that you're halfway through the game, certain characters that you meet in that beginning and opening, like they become more important and more valuable to you, and
Yes.
your relationship to them matters. And it's like if you had just jumped into the stuff that is fucking incredible about this game, like you would have missed all this character development.
Yes, and that the same hell, Mass Effect Andromeda suffered from that. That first entire planet was just like, what the fuck are we doing
Yeah.
here? Until you get to the second planet and stuff starts to happen, characters start to develop, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So when you go back to that planet again, you're like, okay, I fucking get it now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
None of your squad members are really likable
No.
until you get to the second
Yeah,
planet.
exactly. And maybe bad game design's a bad way to say it, but that's just not.
Well-
I just remember. Okay, let's take KOTOR for example. Knights of the Old Republic throws you in to this giant cutscene. Giant tutorial at the beginning of the mission, and it's long and it's tedious and monotonous. But when you first play it, holy shit! I'm in a Star Destroyer, a Star Carrier that's literally going down. This guy's here. I don't know who I am. I don't know what's happening. Holy shit, that chick has a lightsaber. How can I get mine?
Holy shit, that chick has a double bladed
Yeah,
lightsaber.
well, she didn't have it at the beginning, did she? Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah,
You're
she
right.
did.
Holy shit, that chick has a double-bladed lightsaber. Let's move forward. Here we go. I'm on Terrace. I don't have a lightsaber. What's happening? You mean I'm force sensitive? Son of a bitch. Like, from the very beginning of that game, even in the tutorial, BioWare captured you.
But then you get to Terrace and it's like,
Yeah, Terrace, whatever. But like,
so it has both
yeah,
problems.
it does have both
it's like,
problems.
oh, this is super interesting at the beginning. It's like, I just want to get the fuck off of Terrace.
But I've noticed that in games lately, it's like nothing like game design. You don't want to put a tutorial in as a developer because people just complain about tutorials. But then you don't have a way of teaching people how to play your game. So if it's a brand new venture, it's like you have this really hard task of developing a way to get players involved and hook them. And I hate saying this. I hate saying that you have to play a game for 5 hours to really hook you. I hate that.
See, I don't. First of all, that largely. I know you're not making this point.
Yeah.
But that largely depends on the length. Like if you're playing
Yes,
a
it
9-hour
does.
game and
Yes,
it's 5 hours to get good,
yes.
that's a fucking
I'm
problem.
sure Call of Duty will. If I was interested in Call of Duty, I'm sure it would hook me in the first 30 seconds.
But if you're playing
if
you're playing a longer experience and the overall story is worth playing, I don't necessarily know that I have an issue with a little bit of build up because I think it's the same as like we watched Lord of the Rings a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Fellowship.
Yeah, and I thought I hated Fellowship because I remember the beginning of that movie being so fucking boring. And by the way, I was like 9 when that movie came out,
Yeah.
so
You were
I
young.
probably did really think it was boring.
Yeah, totally.
But like the best parts about Fellowship to me, like retroactively at the end of the movie, is when the Fellowship is getting together.
Yeah.
Like kind of post leaving the what's it called, the Shire.
The Shire, yeah.
And like up until
After
the big
Weathertop and they get to
council, yeah.
Rivendell, yeah.
Like those are kind of the best parts of those movies.
Totally.
And they're only made better by the fact that like the end of the movie builds that relationship. And when the Fellowship breaks up, you're like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
you guys have come so far despite
Yeah.
the fact that odds are stacked against you.
Yep.
I think if you have a well-made story, like I kind of think about the beginning of The Last of Us, right? Like the beginning of The Last of Us, that prologue chapter is awesome.
Yes,
And- but
that is
then
a
that-
perfect example.
But that first chapter after that,
Yeah.
like when you're kind of first being introduced to Ellie and you
Yes.
have that older chick with you,
Yes.
it's just not as great.
No,
but
well, I kind of disagree with that because that first chapter is when there's a specific part in The Last of Us. The prologue's phenomenal. Naughty Dog games are great at grabbing you
Pacing, yeah.
at just as soon as this game starts. Hell, even Uncharted 4. Spoilers for Uncharted 4. You're just a dude at work at the beginning of Uncharted 4, and it's like this is awesome because like you go home to Ellie and you're playing Crash Bandicoot and you're like, I would be okay. Elena, sorry. I would be okay.
Ellie. Are they both named Ellie?
I would be okay with playing this for 12 hours. I don't need to shoot anybody. This is just great. It grabbed me, and then all of a sudden you got a gun, and I'm like, whatever.
Well,
but like Last of Us, that first chapter, there's a specific part in that first chapter when there's a part where you actually walk up to this rooftop, and it's in the first chapter. I don't remember what city it's in, but you walked up to this rooftop, and it's the first time you see this is the world after whatever happened. And you see giraffes.
No, that's not until like the end of the game.
No, it's not.
The giraffes are not until the end of the game.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that being super
the problem-
early for some reason.
The problem with the first chapter is it's like you're shown at the beginning where Joel and this, I forgot her
Man,
name.
I need to play Last of Us again.
Joel and this chick are like, you're basically establishing what their role is in this world and how Joel's been affected by the prologue of the game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of build up to where like you're given Ellie and you're told to go do something, and there's like these character moments that are great, but at the end of the day, like it's kind of just slower moving, especially after like how high octane the beginning of the game is. Like the beginning of the game starts and it's like, oh my god, and by the end you're just on adrenaline.
Yeah.
But once you kind of play through the first chapter and you get to the second chapter and you realize the way that the story is being told and how it's like seasonal and over the course of the year.
You're right. That's why that part was so impactful, because you literally go through hell and back to get to that point. And you walk up to that, and now remember it, you walk up to that rooftop and the giraffes are in the old playground and the grass is grown over all these buildings in the city. And it's like, wow.
It's like it kind of gives you hope.
Yeah,
It's like you've seen so much shit.
Exactly.
And it's
You're
like,
right.
But
You're 100%
the giraffes
right.
are still
Yes.
here, so it's fine.
Yes, but I don't even know how the hell we got on this.
But
fucking
just story pacing.
yeah.
But there are times where it's not done well. Like I really think that kind of to the detriment of Mass Effect Andromeda, the fact that the beginning of the game is not interesting,
it's
is
not.
a huge detriment. And I don't know that it recovers from it in the same way that Last of Us or Horizon or Assassin's Creed does.
The problem being is it could have been. It is so interesting knowing that Andromeda takes place between 1 and 2, that when you leave, shit's just hitting the fan.
I think Shepard had just died.
And so
Like when
shit,
you leave.
literally shit is just hitting the fan in the Mass Effect trilogy, and you're leaving Earth because you're never coming back. And that is so interesting that these 4 arcs are, to your knowledge, the last of the races in the galaxy. In your galaxy.
Yeah, you have no idea.
No clue that
mean,
Shepard succeeded.
Optimistically, you're like, man, the end of Mass Effect 3, like the people are still alive.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
I mean,
blah,
but
blah.
yeah,
but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck does this universe look like?
Well,
now?
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like to the characters of Mass Effect Andromeda, they don't know that. They don't know how Mass Effect 3 ended. They don't know that Shepard succeeded in destroying the Reapers. They think, for all intents and purposes, we don't exist in the galaxy anymore. This is everything that we own, have, and will ever be, and we have to try to start over. That is so interesting, so engrossing that it's just like, man, this is going to be amazing. And then you start playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and you're like, whatever.
It's like, it's interesting, but it's like, where's the point, man? And
Yeah,
how do I get to it?
Hell, fucking Star Trek: The Next Generation is better than that. Like that
Yeah.
is more interesting and pulling in than the first 10 hours of Andromeda.
Yeah.
Andromeda got so good once you got further in. But yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, it's just weird.
Chris, you have a ragtag
I
news
do, man.
list.
Did you even say what you were playing?
Yeah, I went through it briefly.
Okay. You're not playing a lot. You're getting home late and you're going straight to bed.
Yeah, I just I think I'm also too, like, there are things out there that I want to play and I don't have them yet. So
Yeah.
and also, like, there's this I don't know. Like, I'm kind of feeling like I need a bit of a break.
Yeah, people
There's
do.
nothing
You
wrong
need
with
that.
that.
Yeah, you need that for games.
I mean, we played Mass Effect like 40 hours for a week for like
That's
5
true.
weeks straight. Like, I don't know what else.
you need to go back and pick up some like old ass games that are just great games, like KOTOR on Steam. Sit back and just freaking play it.
Man, I wish that the spring was like the spring used to be, where you just didn't have a lot of games come out.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, yes. Actually, that's not a good thing.
I'm actually really like, it sounds so stupid because it just got cold. It's November. Christmas
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet, but I'm so fucking excited for the summer
Yeah.
because it's just like,
Well, now that you say that, it's like we've been gaming since the beginning of 2017 nonstop. And it's been game of the year contender after game of the year contender after game of the year
it's
contender. And it's almost like now Destiny came out. Destiny was our high point, at least for our group of friends.
it was the most anticipated game.
Destiny
of our
was definitely
year.
the high point for our year, and it's out, and we loved it. We put 300 plus hours in. We're all ready for the next expansion, blah, 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 blah. And you're finally like, whew, yeah, I don't feel like playing any games right now.
Yeah.
You know, and that really kind of sucks.
Yeah, like I was telling you guys before, I watched a fucking documentary about lions yesterday.
What?
So I was like, yeah, why not? It was really cool. You guys might not have been listening to me, but basically it's
I was
called
mad 45 minutes ago.
it's called Relentless Enemies, and it's about how there's like this swamp that's kind of river locked, so it's almost an island.
Okay.
And there's these buffaloes that are stuck on the island because they can't really get across the river; it's too dangerous for them. And there's this pride of lions called the Sorrow Tribe. That lives there and essentially herds the buffalo, like keeps them from crossing the river. But over time, these lions have gotten massive. Like you've seen like evolution happen in a really short period of time.
Okay.
Because lions don't typically hunt these huge buffaloes. So you have the massive lions that are surviving the fights that are breeding and making bigger lions. And so it's all about like these evolutionary advanced lions that are stuck on this island hunting buffalo.
Interesting.
But at the same time, throughout the whole movie, I'm going to spoil this fucking documentary. Throughout the whole movie, every time that the other lions have cubs, the cubs die. And no one can figure out, like, they can't figure out why the cubs are dying. Well, there's this older lion who's called Silver Eye because she got in a fight and her eye is completely, like, it's dead and silver. And she's an older lion and she's just cranky and stuff and she doesn't like the cubs. Well, she's killed 31 cubs over the course of like 6 years.
Interesting.
And it's just fucking crazy and cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's also I sent you that, Everett, because my phone's about to die, so I'm gonna need that list here in a minute.
Send it to me because my phone's probably charged.
Oh, I didn't think about. Oh man, my phone's dead. Can you send that to Trey? Yeah, it's the reason. Like when Stranger Things launched a couple weeks ago, man, I was super excited. I was really excited to come home and not play a video game. I was super excited to come home and watch Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that. I don't know.
Also, I've been really into the Joe Rogan Experience podcast.
Dude, Joe Rogan. I've been listening to Joe Rogan for the last 6 months or so. He's amazing.
Well, Colin was on it recently. Is this on your news at all?
He's been on it a few times now.
No, but I mean, like, is Colin on your news at all?
Yeah, a little bit. No,
On
you're
your
not
news
on this.
list?
No.
I guess this could be our first thing. I mean, it's not on your list, but I think it's worth talking about because we care about it. But
Yep.
So Colin, if you guys don't know him, Colin Moriarty used to be Kind of Funny. Left IGN, started it with Greg Miller and Tim and Nick. And he got kicked out over. I mean, he left the gaming industry.
Left. Yeah, he left the gaming. He did not get kicked out.
I mean, he kind of got kicked out.
he didn't get kicked out. He left.
But he left the gaming industry after sending out this tweet on National Women's Day that people hated.
But it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been covering video games for over a decade.
Yep.
Really, I mean, he's in the same way that Greg Miller inspires us, Colin Moriarty inspires
Yep.
us. And he's been doing his own thing on Colin's Last Stand, history, politics, current events.
Good shit. Great shit.
Yeah, great shit. He announced last week that he's coming back to video games
Which
in
is
some
awesome.
capacity.
Which is awesome.
Which-
I'm excited that he is because I think this is going to sound super bad. So don't hate us or just me. You can take this as Chris's opinion. There aren't enough analytical reviewers anymore. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I really always loved the way Colin sat down and had such a different dichotomy to Greg, where Greg was like, I fucking love Patapon, blah, 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 all this stuff, no. And Colin's like, yeah, Patapon's okay. It's not that good. And it's not. Patapon's not a 10.
Yeah.
Where Greg Miller's like, it's a 10. Where like Friday the 13th, Greg Miller's like, it's a 10. No, it's not, dude. It's really not a good game. It's not balanced. Nothing about that is a good game, other than the fact it's fun.
Yeah.
I think there's I'm not saying that all video game reviewers are like this. There's plenty of people that are super analytical about games, but I really love how deep Colin got when it came to just logic about a video game.
Well,
A good example for this is the latest IGN review for Call of Duty World War II. I don't remember. I think one of the girls reviewed it, and she made a point in the review saying that she really likes that all you do is choose a face, and they're kind of like they're hard to see. They're not gender specific. You can kind of tell. It's like, oh, this could be a dude. This could be, and she really likes that. I was like, I don't understand why that even matters.
Well, I mean,
it shouldn't matter. It's just a fucking multiplayer character that's gonna die every 5 seconds.
Overall, I think I agree with your opinion.
Okay.
And before I move on,
okay.
I do think that that's important though because she's a woman. Like, I know this is gonna sound like stupid and gender shouldn't matter, like about how someone views a game, but like you can't have a female character in a World War II game. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you're going for historical accuracy, like you just can't do it.
Yeah.
So the fact that like they are finding a way around it,
unless they're riveting shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
no,
the nurse character's a chick.
Yes.
But the fact that they're finding a way around it and allowing women to represent themselves, like, that's pretty cool to me.
I also agree with that. I really do agree with you saying like, oh yeah, it's really cool that somebody who may be gender fluid feels like this is my character.
Mm-hmm.
This is me. This is me dying every 5 seconds because I suck at this game. But at least you feel like that character is you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. However, doesn't matter in a review. The only reason you're there is to tell me whether this game is good or not.
Well, and at the end of the day, like, I kind of just think I'm getting to this point slowly. Mind you, subscribe to Twin Stick Radio on YouTube to watch our review show. But I think reviews are kind of dumb, and that's why like I'm really excited about the way that we want to do reviews because like I read I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was some freelancer. But I read Polygon's review for the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC, and he had mostly positive things to say about it, but then he goes on for like a paragraph or two about how, instead of adding new weapons and new enemies, they should have fixed the inventory system. And it's like, yeah, the inventory system in Horizon sucks. I call it out in my review. I say in my review, like, hey, fucking, the inventory is not great, but it didn't take away from my experience.
Right.
But since when does someone launch a story expansion to a game? We all walk into it and we think, this is a story expansion.
Yeah.
I didn't walk into Fallout 4 or Far Harbor and be like, oh my God, they didn't fix the fucking mod system or whatever. Like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
And so, like, now you put an 8.0 on the game. Is the 8.0 because it's actually a good expansion?
Yeah.
And the inventory sucks? Or is it just an 8.0 expansion, which is fine. 8.0 is not bad. But it's hard for me when I'm reading through a review and I'm like, you don't really have any other like major complaints.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're like a little bit sad about something like combat stuff.
Yeah, it's
one
one of
those.
Did you knock 2 points because they didn't fix an inventory system?
Yeah, like I can't take that seriously,
Yeah.
even though objectively I know he probably didn't do that. He probably just feels like this is an 8.0 and 8's a great score.
Yep.
But that's why I'm really excited about the way that we want to do reviews, which if just to SparkNotes version, like it's going to be Chris and I, or Justin and I, we're sitting down in a panel and it's like, let's talk about Assassin's Creed Origin, and you get our 3 perspectives and our 3 scores.
It's not just one person from a company talking about this game. Because you're going to have a completely different opinion of Assassin's Creed than I am and than Justin is.
And that's exciting to me because it's like, we're not going to average those scores. It's not going to be like Twin Stick Radio overall gives this game the average of the 3 scores of the review panelists. It's like, no, if you like the games that Trey says, if you fucking were over the moon about Horizon Zero Dawn and you are like Mass Effect Andromeda and thought it was disappointing, and if you really love South Park Stick of Truth, like, this is the guy you're going to listen to.
Yep.
But if you play games in the way that Chris does, where he plays every pixel of that game is gone over by Chris and obsessive videos are watched, and this is your game for 3 months, like, fucking Chris is your guy.
Yep.
Like, he's not going to be as hot on
happens.
the newest thing like I'm going to be because I play everything and Chris doesn't.
That's literally what happens with my games.
Yeah. That's how you play games, and that's really fucking cool, and it's exciting.
Justin plays Animal Crossing.
I mean, yeah. Justin plays everything, but he is less verbose about how he feels about it. He's like, oh, that's good.
So moving on
to
to...
grab my phone real fast.
Oh, no. I don't want to get out of the camera shot.
I would do it, but I'm kind of chair and wall locked over here. I'll open it up for you so you can do your notes. This is exciting. We're on camera. We can't edit this out.
I know,
Stuck
we can't,
for
but it's good
forever.
shit. I like this. It's
go.
looking good. Number 4. This is super thrown together, by the way. Like I
You just fucking killed Everett.
sorry, F.
There was such a look of displeasure. Are you okay?
Sorry, F. Number 4. This is a super thrown together list. Actually, be number 2. I didn't write anything. I usually write paragraphs of stuff like a news. I write out like a news thing. And I didn't do that this time because I put this together in Taco Bell.
I'm really worried about how much stuff we missed because there's
There's
a
a ton of stuff we missed. But this is also a test stream, so if you're watching, is there anybody watching? If hey, there you
Oh
go.
hi.
Hey,
I mean,
guys.
it's probably both of you
no,
motherfuckers.
my phone died.
It's you motherfucker and someone else.
Hey, if you're watching us, welcome.
Yeah, say something in the chat. Ask us a question.
Yeah.
We'll answer it at the end.
It's very true. We will. Will it be a good answer? No.
But right now, we're not. Just also so you know, we're not going to sit here and watch the chat. Like this is a podcast first.
that's true.
So
I do like what Kind of Funny does. The Games Daily, they have the thing at the end like, "Hey, you were wrong." I don't want that. I want like because usually we're not wrong.
well, but I think that there's like I think when we're done, we can turn off the live stream. That's the podcast, or turn off the recording of the podcast, and
then
just sit there and
yes,
talk to chat
yes,
for a little bit.
yes. And do like a we'll answer your questions type thing. I think it's gonna be good. Anyway, number 1, Telltale Games has laid off 90 people. 90 plus people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's say 80 plus just to be safe, because like I said, I threw this together at Taco Bell and I couldn't cross-reference stuff. But Telltale did lay off 90 people. Telltale just hired a new CEO, and he came in and trimmed the fat.
I mean, hopefully he's doing other stuff too, because I liked Batman season 1.
Yep. Apparently, Guardians is getting it. So many people have fallen off.
Yeah,
Guardians.
I mean, from what I understand, Guardians is just not good.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else out there really likes it, and I'd love to hear their opinion on it. But at the end of the day, like I don't. Guardians isn't hitting in the same way it was. Game of Thrones didn't hit in the same way.
Yeah.
I don't think Tales from the Borderlands really did either. Like Tales from the Borderlands is arguably the best thing they've done.
I was going to say that's probably their best game, other
Yeah.
than Walking Dead season 1.
Yeah. And I didn't really see people talking about like Walking Dead season 3 in the same way.
That's the thing is, Ev and I were talking about this at Taco Bell. It's a matter of on LinkedIn. There's at least on LinkedIn, there's 300 people that are labeled as working for Telltale. And that's a 300 person studio where something like Bethesda is like 100.
Yeah.
And look at what Bethesda makes and look at what Telltale makes.
Yeah.
Granted, Telltale makes more of Telltale
that was
thing.
going to be my argument.
However, it's not like you're making new assets every game.
Mm-hmm.
You're using the same engine, you're using the same assets, you're just making better voices and animating.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm not taking away from game development. Game development is something I don't understand, and I'm sure it's ridiculously complicated and hard. However, you don't need 300 people to make Telltale games. And I think that's what that CEO ended up finding out. It's like, we don't need this big of a staff to make what we're making unless we're going to restructure. We've been saying it for years. Telltale really needs to update their engine and change things.
Yeah, I really think that like that's kind of the next step that needs to happen. It's just you can't keep doing the same thing over and having the same issues.
Right.
Like at least with we talked about this earlier with Bethesda games. At least like they're different issues.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of consistency.
Yes.
Like yeah, there are some things that happen, but at the end of the day, it's like it's always random weird shit that you can't account for in a playtest environment.
Yes. So it sucks that 90 people lost their job. Again, we always say good vibes to anybody who lost their job. That really, really sucks. But I hope you land on your feet. I'm sure you will. Developers need developing studios always need developers. So I'm sure there's opportunities out there for you guys.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. But I'm going to be interested to see how this evolves Telltale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 2, 3. Colin was 2. Number 26. The Take-Two CEO has said that microtransactions will be a part of all Take-Two games going forward. He did not say microtransactions. He said recurrent user spending opportunities. So
Loot boxes.
well, I take recurrent user spending opportunities as a overarching statement for DLC, expansions, season passes, and microtransactions. I feel like all those things are in recurrent user spending opportunities.
Yeah.
However, again, Take-Two Interactive has fucked the poodle with NBA 2K18.
Wait, Take-Two is
Take-Two's 2K. Aren't they?
I think that's 2K.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm pretty
Maybe
sure
I'm an
they're-
idiot.
I'm pretty sure
Keep
they're
saying
2K.
your thing.
I think they are. I think Take-Two does a 2K series.
I think Take-Two is
It's
Grand Theft
Take-Two's
Auto.
Rockstar. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. But I could have sworn.
Grand Theft Auto, BioShock.
Yeah, then Red Dead. But I thought Take-Two was also above 2K.
No, I think that's 2K. I don't. Maybe I don't know.
Anyway.
Go ahead. And,
Okay, so I'll take that statement back. However, comma.
You keep doing it.
Yeah, okay. So we see Grand Theft Auto Online. That was going to be my next point. Grand Theft Auto Online has, I want to say, I saw a thing that 42% of their revenue comes from online purchases. Grand Theft Auto. 42% of their revenue have come from online purchases, i.e. shark cards,
Yeah.
whatever else you can buy, guns and stuff like that with real world
Yeah.
currency.
Well, I mean, DLC packs to the game,
Yeah,
new content
DLC
to the
pack-
game
exactly.
are free.
So, and you see something like Grand Theft Auto, which we'll get to again here in a minute because they hit a milestone that's ridiculous in my head that I almost can't comprehend. But you have that, and you have Red Dead coming out, and there's no reason in the world that Red Dead Online is not going to be a thing, and there's no reason in the world you shouldn't expect microtransactions.
Yeah.
But the Take-Two CEO has said that going forward, every Take-Two game, which includes all the Rockstar games, will have microtransactions. So calm your fucking fucks down. They're here to stay.
Well, to your point, you were right. NBA 2K is under Take-Two.
Okay, okay.
But anyway,
Which also means Borderlands 3 will have microtransactions.
so I don't want to like. I feel like microtransactions would really fuck over that game specifically.
I think they
Like,
could if they weren't handled
I
correctly.
don't really have a visceral reaction. Visceral.
Yeah. Well,
Visceral microtransactions.
oh man.
But I don't
Too
really,
soon.
I don't really have a bit. Everett is sad. I've made Everett sad.
No, man, that's too soon. Jeez.
I don't really have like a visceral reaction to a lot of games having microtransactions, but
I don't either.
When you think about the way that Borderlands handles loot, like
There's the
that.
problem. Golden keys.
Yeah.
Instead of getting golden keys from random Facebook and Twitter things,
Yeah.
maybe from now on you have to buy
Like-
golden keys, and that really sucks.
that makes me ill, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not excited about that. But to your point about 2K, it's like, yeah, they fucked the poodle with 2K.
Yeah, dude,
but
I think they were charging almost $10 for haircuts for your creative character.
But conversely, like no one says. I mean, if you think about the original fucking microtransaction game, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. It's been doing it since the 360.
Yep.
And no one has ever described that game as predatory.
Nope.
So there is obviously room
It has
for error.
evolved.
There's a margin of error.
The microtransaction has evolved from the 360 till now.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it's only been 3 years, but it has evolved from the here's some shark cards to get you some
Yeah.
money to now it's like here's a haircut locked behind real world money. It's
Here's
like,
a loot
holy
box
shit.
that gives you orcs.
Exactly. Like it's definitely evolved and not for the better. But I hope that Take-Two will follow their Grand Theft Auto formula and not evolve too far into their NBA formula.
Yeah, but
Like,
I also hope that like gamers stop spending money on microtransactions.
Yeah, that
like,
too.
At the end of the day, like
well,
I don't
it's
like
hard.
them.
It's hard for me to say that because I spend money on microtransactions.
Sure, but,
I
like-
think we're all part of the problem.
But the thing is, like, I don't. I mean, I've spent some money on like Overwatch loot.
That's what I mean.
boxes.
Like
But-
I spent $5 on a costume for Assassin's Creed earlier, so it's like
But at the end of the day, like, I kind of got to the point. I'm at the point where like I just don't like it anymore. But at the same time, like I can recognize that the market doesn't agree with me.
yeah.
Like people are making billions of dollars off of microtransactions, and it's like, how I can't continue to feel sad about you not liking microtransactions if you're spending money on
Right,
them. Like,
exactly.
stop doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, man, do I not like certain micro? I ride the fence with microtransactions. It's like I'll spend $5 on a cosmetic thing for Assassin's Creed, but there's no way I'm ever buying silver for Destiny.
Yeah.
I'll never buy a haircut for NBA 2K17 or 2K18, but I'll 100% spend maybe a little bit of money in like Grand Theft Auto to get a gun.
Yeah.
I need that $100,000 push, so I spend $2 on a shark card and get that $100,000.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean?
Well, and it's like you have 2K, which is sitting on the top of the MPDs, is an extremely successful game, continues to be a successful game. But people hate the microtransactions. You're still buying the game. You're still buying the microtransactions. And then on the other side, you have Horizon Zero Dawn, which has 0 microtransactions.
Yep.
In fact, you can get the entire game
Is there
plus
really
the DLC.
none?
No, there are none. You
That's
can
good.
get the entire game plus the DLC for $50 right now.
That's good.
And it's like, if you want to make a statement, don't buy fucking 2K or Call of Duty. Go buy Horizon Zero Dawn, a game that doesn't have them at all.
Yes, absolutely. Or support the games like Destiny and Assassin's Creed. They do everything well. They have the microtransactions, but microtransactions are such a underlying thing in this game.
They're ancillary to the main thing.
Exactly. Whatever. I don't even know where we're at. Niantic is currently working on a Harry Potter AR game in conjunction with WB's new studio, Portkey.
Yeah, someone put a fucking bullet in my brain. I read that earlier.
Can you hear Matt? Dude, Whitney's already still playing Pokemon Go. To this day, she has that on her. It's open on her phone almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's open. But imagine now there's a Harry Potter game to go along with it.
I don't. This is one of those times where and it doesn't happen often. I usually have a pretty good opinion, not good opinion. I have a well thought out opinion. Whether or not it's right or wrong, or whether or not it's ridiculous, is kind of besides the point. I usually have an opinion I've thought about. But my thing I saw this earlier on IGN, and it's just I have nothing to say besides the fact that I just think this is fucking stupid and it shouldn't exist. Nothing has ever made me more viscerally irritated. But nothing has made me more just obvious. It irritates me so much. Why do we need this?
We don't need this, but Niantic needs another 65 million people playing a game and make $50 billion.
Sure.
Because that's exactly what's going to happen. It's Harry Potter. Don't tell me you can't see Blake in the middle of Austin fucking slinging spells at somebody else, doing whatever you're doing in this AR game.
Here's the problem.
Spending $5 for the Expelliarmus spell.
Here's the problem with what you just said is that's never going to fucking happen. We can't even fucking trade Pokemon in Pokemon Go.
That's the thing.
What makes you think you're going to be having fucking dark art duels in the middle of the park?
Yes, you are 100% right, but
so why would you do it in front of all the Muggles? Come on.
Good call. But for Moogles. Oh, no, you're right. It's Muggles. Moogles is Final Fantasy. But look at Pokemon. For that first 6 months, there were hundreds and thousands of people running across Central Park being fucking crazy over a Charizard.
But that makes sense. Pokemon as an AR game, there is not a better fit for that.
Yeah.
Fucking Invisimals couldn't do it as well as Pokemon Go does.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
It makes sense, but a Harry Potter game, I don't understand how you make that make sense. Because the thing about Harry Potter is, first it's the witches and wizards, and Fantastic Beasts did a good job of representing that world. But at the end of the day, the Harry Potter fantasy is not fucking collecting the little pot gnomes.
No, I don't.
It's going to school and learning about magic.
That's the thing is we're not Niantic, so this is pure speculation. But I guarantee you're going to answer some questions, be sorted into a house. You're going to get your Patronus. Is it Patronus? You're going to get your Patronus, and you're going to be super customized, and this is your phone. You're part of Ravenclaw, and you have what was mine? I was a Ravenclaw, and I was what are the dead horses? The Spectrals.
Something like that.
I had Thestrals. Yeah, Thestrals. I had a Thestral as my Patronus, and this is all on Pottermore, right? That was really fun, and it was engaging, and it was cool to see, and all this stuff was happening, and it was cool. But then it was done because there's nothing else to do in Pottermore except for read shit, and I don't really care that much about Harry Potter. But if you put
let's be real for a second. We did not take the fucking Pottermore quiz. We took the
yeah, you are right. But then now you throw an interactive wand in my hand, that's kind of cool, and I have to make certain movements to do the thing. That's kind of cool. Depending on how the AR, I don't need to unlock. I know what the last one is. Okay. Depending on what the AR functionality is, this game could be interesting for another 6 months, and Niantic's going to make their money back 1,000-fold.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what this is.
I do think the whole Portkey Studio thing is kind of cool.
That is cool.
I think that we've talked about this before. We need a Harry Potter game.
We need a good Harry Potter game.
So I like the idea that there's a studio out there doing something.
Yeah,
with that.
I think, we need a good Harry Potter game. I still love the idea of Blake's MMO where you are a student.
And it's like Destiny,
Yeah,
but-
basically. I love that idea. Last on the list, of course, is Grand Theft Auto 5 again. Number one on Black Friday, Grand Theft Auto 5 is going to be $25 at most outlets. So it's going to sell another ridiculous amount because of this holiday season.
Yeah.
But Grand Theft Auto has officially sold, not sold through, so this isn't to consumers, this is to retail. Grand Theft Auto has officially sold 85 million copies across all 4 platforms, making it the best-selling game of all time, surpassing Legend of Zelda franchise. The Legend of Zelda franchise.
Yeah.
The Legend of Zelda's been going for NES. What are we talking? We're talking 1986, 1987.
Yeah.
30 something year, 30, 40 plus years.
Yeah, but at the same time, like
Across.
it's had like Zelda has floundered for 3 generations.
Yes,
know?
but
Not to downplay like how impressive it is.
But that aside, you've got at least 2 on the NES. You've got 1 on the Super Nintendo. You've got 2 on the Nintendo 64. You've got 3 on the GameCube, a couple on the Wii, going Wii U into the Switch and 3DS. Not to mention 3DS, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, all these Zelda games across that entire franchise. Grand Theft Auto, one game across 4 platforms in 3.5 to 4 years has outsold that game.
But what is it about Grand Theft Auto 5? Because
I don't know, dude.
I like Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't have a problem with Grand Theft Auto 5, and I don't think it doesn't deserve the attention that it's getting. But I just, for the life of me, I can't think of what sets it apart. Like,
I don't know.
there are people that are still playing that game obsessively, but it's like, yeah, sure, I would like to go back and play Grand Theft Auto 5. We get a little crew together. I'd have a good time.
Yeah.
But in a world of fucking Destiny 2 and Fractured But Whole and Assassin's Creed Origins,
I honestly don't know,
the
man.
shit ton of games that I either missed or didn't finish this year. Like, you know, I still want to go back and play Persona at some point and finish it.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
it's never gonna. Never gonna fall. Like, it's not gonna take less of a priority than.
I can't be the only person that at some point in the 3 years Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out, sold it and rebought it again.
No, I mean, I did that.
Yeah, I think that is something that is happening, but I can't see that accounting for 85 million. I think sold through, they're like at 72 or 76 million sold through.
I mean, you have 5 consoles, right? You have 360, PS3, PS4, Xbox One, PC, right? So you have 5 platforms that it's on.
Yeah.
You have PC, which is growing internationally. You have PS4, which is what I think the last number I heard, like estimation, was something like 65 million.
Yeah, I think they're pushing 70 with the Pro. With the Pro launch.
And of course, not to take anything away from Xbox One, it's doing well, at least in the United States.
They surpassed 70 because of the Pro.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but
But,
PlayStation
like,
by itself, PlayStation 4 proper is only like 60 something.
What I would be more interested in, and this will never happen, so this is pie in the sky, but like I remember like shortly after the Switch launched, there was that number that came out from Nintendo where it's like something like 91% of all Switch owners own Breath of the Wild. I would be really interested to see that number across like this percentage of PS4 users have owned Grand Theft Auto 5 at some point.
Yes. Can't we see that with at least trophies? We can probably see it at least an estimation of that first initial trophy that unlocks at the beginning.
We can see it shows you a percentage.
Yeah, but that's not going to tell
it's
us
like
how
10% of all people.
Yeah, but that's not going to tell me. Oh no, that'll get close.
No,
'Cause
no.
If we see that first initial trophy,
What it tells you is like, so 50% of all people that have ever owned this game have this trophy.
that's right. It's not 50% of people on PS4. Yeah, you're right. Okay, but it's just, we're over here like not playing devil's advocate or shitting on it, but all that aside, it's extremely impressive that Grand Theft Auto has sold 85 million copies. And
I just can't fathom why. Like it's one of those things where it's like, there's a really interesting story there about why this game is so successful that someone could dig up just by looking at the data.
Yeah, totally.
But it comes down to this problem that we have with the gaming industry all the time where it's so closed off and so secretive and no one wants to talk about things at all that we're never going to know that story about why this game is so different.
That's why I love I enjoy listening to Jason Schreier talk from Kotaku because he he digs in places he probably shouldn't be digging, but it's also the video game industry, so it's not like he's got like the fucking video game mafia after him. Nothing's bad is going to happen to this guy. Then you got guys like Danny O'Dwyer, who constantly makes these really great documentaries about failed stuff, successful stuff.
His one about Final Fantasy 14 is awesome.
So good. And so like you've got guys like that that are trying to dig this stuff up. But you're right, the gaming industry is so secret. We've had this conversation before, and it's so stupid that video game companies don't tell us anything about their game.
I think
It's
it goes
just
back
stupid.
to I think it's a grander version of the Nintendo problem. Like I think a lot of people that are publishing video games don't see them as anything more than toys. Like you don't know the percentage of people who've walked into a Walmart who have bought the fucking Revan, a black figure, because no one gives a shit about toy statistics like that.
Yeah.
Like if anything, the thing that we care about more is like fucking how many of these things exist.
Right.
But with video games, like I don't think they see the statistical intrigue behind this kind of stuff. I don't think that they see people like us out there that like, I love video games, but the thing that I probably love more than video games is talking about video games and thinking about video games.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
looking at data about
absolutely,
video games.
yes.
Because to me, it's more of a cultural phenomenon than it is anything else.
Yeah.
But they don't see it that way. To them, it's a toy.
Yeah, and that's starting to change. I mean, I see video games as art. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are starting to, but corporate America does not, and that's where
publishers don't, and that's the issue. That's why they'll shove microtransactions into anything where they can find an opening.
Yep.
Like Shadow of War is not better or worse for microtransactions,
but they're there.
But they're there. Why?
Yeah.
Why are they there? Well, because it's a way to make an extra buck, and I can respect that.
And let's be completely honest, it's not an extra buck; it's an extra billion.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because there are people out there that have probably already spent thousands of dollars on Shadow of War.
Well, and then you turn around and you look at it, and it's kind of this thing of like, EA will sit there and tell you, well, us shoving microtransactions into all of our games allows games like fucking Yarny to be published, and it's like, then why the fuck did you close Visceral?
Yeah.
Like if Yarny can survive off of the billions of dollars that you make
from Star Wars,
from Battlefront and Mass Effect Andromeda and FIFA, then why can't Visceral survive off of that?
Yep.
Because it's not art. It's not about the product. It's about the money, and that's fine. Like, I'm not sitting here talking shit about publishers or developers, or not developers at all.
No,
I'm not talking shit about publishers. They are a business. They are there to make money, and we have to accept that.
Yep.
Without money, this doesn't exist.
Yep.
But at the same time, like, there's a distinct lack of passion that comes from publishers, and that's so depressing.
Yeah,
because
totally.
We obviously don't feel that way because you guys wouldn't have been here for 3 hours setting up the stream,
right? And
we wouldn't be sitting in front of this camera at 8:00 at night if we didn't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's and you see this from when developers have the okay to do streams. Like Destiny has a stream next week. No. Yeah,
should be next week.
Is it next week or was it today?
Actually, it might have been today.
Shit.
They're supposed to do 3.
Yeah, I think it was today.
Keep talking.
Damn. Anyway, but you see guys like Deej and the developers on these streams, they're so passionate. But imagine if you had like Activision execs on the stream. Like, hey, so what's your favorite class? And they read from a cue card. I really like the Hunter. Cool. What do you like about the Hunter? I like their overarching, insert corporate term to describe game here. You know what I mean?
The way that they represent the roguish dark side to every gamer out there. Exactly. That's why they're the most popular class.
Exactly. So yeah, hey, on a positive note.
I don't think it was today.
Was it? Okay, good. I didn't miss it. Black Friday ads have started leaking. So I checked out Target and Best Buy, and I can spend $120 on Black Friday and get Watch Dogs 2 again.
An Xbox One X, a new gaming PC.
No,
a monitor.
I wish. Watch Dogs 2, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Kingdom Hearts 2.8, Supernatural in Season 12 on DVD.
Of course you've done that cheer.
Right. Skyrim Special Edition for PS4 for Whitney. There was
Does she want that?
Yeah. There was like 7 things that we could get at Target.
Elder Scrolls Online on PS4.
And she's not gonna. She can't transfer her character. She's not gonna do it.
delete her character, and then she has
No,
to do
good
it.
Lord, I couldn't do that. Anyway, Black Friday, dude, go check out the Black Friday shit because there's a lot of great deals. Like I said, dude, Grand Theft Auto 5 is only $25. It's
Well-
the first time that game has been that low and probably since launch.
No, I bought it for $25 last year.
Oh, a
which
Black
is the
Friday.
pro secret. Sequit.
The sequel.
The secret is the secret is fucking buy Grand Theft Auto 5 digitally, so you never have to buy it again. You're never gonna trade it
digitally,
in.
it's not gonna be $25.
Yes, it will be.
Oh no, it won't.
There's always a Sony sale on Black Friday.
Yeah, that's true. However,
I don't know about
again,
Microsoft.
again.
They're probably banging rocks together.
Probably. Again, though, like I was looking at this, like Assassin's Creed Origins is gonna be $30. I just paid $64 a couple weeks ago. When he was like, "Yeah, but you got to play it from then till now," it's like, "Yeah, but wait a month, and I could have paid $30."
See, that's
for
the thing
it."
about Horizon
Like,
Zero
God
Dawn,
damn-
though, is
Horizon's only gonna be $20.
Part of me is like, well, yeah, but is that the Game of the Year edition?
No, the
or-
Game of the Year edition's $30.
See, but
$30.
But for me, it's like, I
You
am
got to-
kind of sad that I don't get to buy the full experience for $50.
No, but you got to experience it when it was happening.
But let's be real. If I didn't play it in February,
Yeah.
there's no way in fucking hell I'd play it now.
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
just not.
That's
Like
true.
you want to play it, and I guarantee you're not going to play it before our Game of the Year podcast.
No, I'm not. Well, I think I'll get some time into it. I just don't think I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be able to like sit down and be like, "Yep, this is why this is Game of the Year." I'll get maybe. I want to get at least 10 hours into it just to experience Horizon Zero Dawn and
You
understand
should
how
pick it
it
up for
works.
$30 next
Yeah,
week.
maybe. But there's so much
week
shit,
after that.
dude. Osiris is coming out, and it's like, I know, like, seriously, shame on all of you for falling off of the freaking clan. Nobody is playing that game anymore. Nobody.
Yeah, but I don't.
Nobody.
Yeah, but like let's
Rich.
But let's be real for a second. Like, as one of these people that is one of these nobodies that aren't playing the game, like, I will get on if I have a reason. But at the end of the day, like, I can't continue to give up every aspect of my life for Destiny for the same content.
Yes.
Now, when Osiris comes out and there's new content and new things to do, and my friends are back on, there will be probably a month period where I'm really addicted to that game again.
I was talking to Everett about this, and this seems like I'm going to say you're playing Destiny wrong, but that's not true. Everybody has a different way of playing video games. But if you're only playing Destiny for new content and something to do, I feel like you're playing Destiny wrong.
I'm not only playing Destiny for that reason because the amount of hours that I put in so far proves that.
Yeah,
Right?
yes.
Like I hit 305 within a month of launch,
Yeah,
and I'm
less-
still playing it.
less
Like I
than a
just
month of
I
launch.
just played it
Son of
last
a
week,
bitch.
or like 3 or 4 days ago. Like I still really like this game, and I still think it's worth my time. But it can't continue to overwhelm my life in the same way. When
Yes.
It's like, what is the driving goal
I'm
behind
sorry.
me doing this right
When I said you, I don't mean
No,
you.
no, I know.
I mean, in just in general, if you're sitting there playing Destiny and you're not having fun, then stop
Well,
playing Destiny.
and that's the thing is,
like
like-
that I get.
Yeah.
But when I log into Destiny, even if it's by myself for an hour, I still have fun. It's stupid. In my mind, it's stupid.
Well-
but like I still have a ton of fun with that game.
And I've said this 1,000 times, which we should end this because we have a Destiny podcast on Saturday though, that we're doing that you can
call.
watch here on Twin Stick Radio.
Yes, you can.
But ultimately, like my thing with it is like I get on and I still have fun and I still enjoy myself and have a good time. And I'm not even asking for new quests. I'm not asking for a new raid. All I want is a fucking Heroic Strike playlist.
Yeah, yeah.
If they launched tomorrow, if tomorrow they announced, hey, we're launching a Heroic Strike playlist, and if they're like, you have to pay $30 to get
with
into
strike
it.
specific loot.
Yeah, with strike specific loot. And if they charge me $30 for it, you bet your fucking ass I would drop $30 tomorrow
Yep.
and start grinding strikes.
Yep.
Because that's the thing is like back in the day, Destiny 1, it's like we could do public events, we could play Crucible, we could run the raid,
Totally.
we could do strikes, but like right now we're stuck to if I log on, we're either gonna play Crucible or we're gonna run public
Yep,
events.
yep.
So and
Yeah.
then and public events are fine and it's fun and I have a good time doing it. I love doing it, but at the same time, like I could be getting my 11th platinum.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Yeah, and that's the thing
giving
is-
Assassin's
yes.
Creed Origins a shot.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing is there's just, I just want to make that statement. If you're still playing Assassin's Creed and you're literally sitting there on the Destiny subreddit complaining about it, just do.
Complaining about
just-
Assassin's Creed on the Destiny subreddit.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, not Assassin's Creed. If you're sitting there playing Destiny 2 and then you go to the Destiny 2 subreddit and just complain, Like, do us all a favor and just stop.
Yeah.
Like, just stop playing the game and get off that subreddit.
Do yourself a favor. I don't give a shit about
Yeah,
what
that's
you
true.
for
Do
me.
yourself a favor and just
Like-
stop. If you're not having fun with the game, just stop playing it and stop complaining about it.
Yep.
And don't ask for your money back because you feel like you didn't get what you wanted out of Destiny, even though you put 400 hours into it.
Go read a book, get a hobby, start a blog about how much you hate Destiny. All right, guys. Follow Chris and I on Twitter. I'm at Darth Trey. Chris is at Short Change Hero. The show was produced, and our camera guy, tech guy, who's sitting there listening to us yell into his ears for 2 hours, is Everett Jordan. Give him a follow at the56. Make sure you check out all the Twin Stick Radio stuff too. It's on Twitter at Twin Stick Radio, on Facebook at facebook.com/Twin Stick Radio. We have more fun and exciting stuff happening. Just moving slowly.
I am contemplating changing my name on Twitter.
To Chris Needs Reds.
No. and I would hope this is available. I don't know if I don't even know if Short Change Hero the 3 to the
No,
Hero is
the perfect
available
way to
on-
guarantee it's going to be available is to say it on the live stream.
Yeah, exactly. So I might not say it, but if you just understand how Chris works and how my mind works, it's the opposite of hero. Let's put it that way. So I thought it'd be kind of cool.
Darth Chris.
No. Bye, guys.
Bye.